Hello everyone, this is Dr. Song of New Covenant Academy. Today I'll be talking to you about part 2 of 15 parenting tips for parents of young children. Remember, however, that these principles can be applied to middle school and high school students as well. So numbers 1 through 5 were these. 1, pray for your children. 2, focus on positive side of parenting. 3, prevent tantrums or emotional outbursts. 4, be healthy yourself, parents. And 5, strive to maintain peace at home. So today I'll be going through numbers 6 through 10. Number 6, plan for success. Plan for success. You know, if you want to be a successful parent, you have to know a little bit more about what parenting is. Nobody became a parent after 6 years of attending parenting university, right? We became parents because one day we had children. So read about good parenting books. If you want to know more, let me know. I'll provide the list of books that you could read. And integrate tips and advice from those books and also from other families that seem to be doing really, really well in raising their children. There's a whole lot you could learn from other people. And plan for success and don't try to wing it. If you just go like, I'll figure it out as I go, that's probably really not a good approach to parenting. You need to figure out. You need to have some goals. You need to have some parameters. You have to have some guidelines, and you need some direction, and you need even coaching. Okay? So if you ever need any parenting help, and if you're having some issues at home, feel free to contact me. I will make myself available to you. Okay? And learn from your past failures and successes. Think about what worked in the past. Think about what didn't work in the past and make sure you don't repeat the same mistake again. So plan for success. Plan for success in parenting. Number 7, have a good perspective on parenting. And by good perspective, I'm talking about having a long-term perspective, okay? Parenting is a marathon. It's a day-to-day battle, I get it, but it's a long battle, right? It goes on 17, 18. Gosh, my kids are 25, going 26, and my daughter's, 25 years old now. I'm still working on it. So it never comes to an end. If you're a parent, you're going to be praying for your children for the rest of your lives, right? So make sure you have a long-term perspective. You do not have to win today. You may be able to give in and compromise so that you could really battle them on different issues or something larger. So have a long-term perspective. Don't dwell too much on your momentary crises, okay? And step back often and see things from God's perspective. God loves your children. God loves your child even more than you do. That's a difficult thing to process, difficult principle to process, but if God can love your child, and I know we're not God, but we have to also see things from His perspective and be patient and be kind, be loving, and more patience, more kindness, more love is necessary as time goes by. Yes, some of our teenagers especially, I always say that they feel like aliens. They're like different. They grunt. They don't speak English. They're weird individuals. They got their ears plugged with their, earbuds, and they're only looking at their, cell phone and computer screens. But trust me, they will come back to earth one of these days, and they will be human. Okay, so trust me, hang in there. And even if you're like thinking, well, my child is a saint in 4th grade. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have some issues down the line. Your perfect child may not always remain perfect. In fact, I don't think they will. So be prepared, embrace yourself, and have a positive and long-term perspective on parenting, okay? It's going to take time. It's going to require a lot of patience. And treat your child as if he or she were your nephew or niece. This is something that I'm probably going to do another podcast on. I really want to write a book on it. I've actually raised a nephew for 5 years, and I've learned so much from how I treat my nephew and my own son or daughter differently. And I do feel that you could be a better parent if you have a different perspective. A lot of times the reason why we're so overly protective and even overly critical and even overly supportive, what I would consider helicopter and bulldozer parents, is because we care about our children too much. Too much. So have a proper and long-term perspective on parenting. Make your life simpler, manageable, and less stressful by keeping some distance from your child. I know of a parent who was so involved in the child's life that the child basically said, "My mom is suffocating me." And when the mom heard that from the daughter directly, she was shocked. She said, I was doing everything for you. I was doing everything for you. I only wanted the very best for you. Yeah, but that could be suffocating because teenagers need independence and they want to figure their own identity out. Well, there's another topic for a podcast, right? Number 8, punishment or discipline. What should you do? What is the difference between punishment and discipline? Okay, I would say punishment is to curb or change the outward behavior, whereas discipline is conversations and steps that are taken to change inside, or the inward change is promoted. Okay, so a lot of times punishment will momentarily change the circumstance or avoid some pain or embarrassment, but they don't have a long-term effect. So we have to figure out the difference between punishment and discipline and make sure that we do more of long-term self-regulation. We have to promote that. That's the goal of discipline, isn't it? I'm not always going to be around to discipline your children, nor will you. So they have to take what we give them, internalize it, and learn how to regulate themselves when no one is watching, when no one is around, especially when we're not around. So in order to do that, we have to discipline them, not punish them. Punishment is for the momentary avoidance of crisis or embarrassment. Discipline is learning things over time in the long haul. Okay? And number 9, understand the difference between having pride versus being proud of. Sometimes parents try too hard to showcase their child as a perfect being, one who is able to do everything, does well in school, does well in dances and sports and all of that. But what's your motivation? What is your motivation? I wonder if many of our parents are really living vicariously through their children, meaning indirectly they're satisfied and even find value and worth in their lives because their children are doing so well. So the parents are deriving satisfaction through the praises that their children receive from other people. But that's not being proud of your child. It's actually having pride in yourself and having pride, or sometimes building the pride in the child, which could be very negative. You could be proud of your child, but check your pride that seems to appear as your child is perfect, or that, may I say this, that you are perfect as a parent. No one is asking you to be a perfect parent, and there is no such parent in this world. You could be proud of what the child is able to accomplish and do, which is wonderful. Everybody has some talent, but don't try to build your child up as a perfect child or someone who does so many things so well in such a way that you start to build pride in yourself that you're such a good parent, or that your child also feels very proud of himself, which goes beyond just being proud, but feels the pride in comparison to others, that I'm better than you, I'm so much better than you, or I'm so much better than those people. That kind of pride is very, very negative, and it could be destructive. And may I add this? There will always be someone better than your child. Whatever the area that your child is excelling in, there will always be someone better. So it's important to develop humility, and we celebrate accomplishments and achievements without being prideful. The last thing I want to share with you today is paying attention to your child. You must pay attention to your child. If you're too busy, you can't pay attention to your child. So what should you focus your attention on? your child's innate tendencies and characters. Not just outward appearances or things that he or she is able to do, but innate, internal tendencies and characters. Probe into your child's life and mind. It's not okay to just ask, how was your day today? What do you get when you ask a question like that? It's usually, yes, no, it was okay, whatever. Those are the responses you get. So you need to be probing. Don't ask questions that require just a simple yes or no. Learn to use the language to probe into the mind and heart of your children. Maybe you could ask things like, hey, tell me 3 things that went well today. Tell me a couple of things that you felt bad about today. So give them the opportunity to explain themselves and share with you what's on their mind. So when you pay attention to your child, that child's innate tendencies and characters, you're going to be able to be a better parent and you're going to be able to help them so much better than simply saying, hey, how was your day? Did you get an A? Or how do you like your teacher? That kind of simple response, questions that require simple responses, is not going to help you to understand the child's innate tendencies and character. So in this podcast, I talked about parenting tips numbers 6 through 10 out of 15 parenting tips for younger children. And they are: plan for success. Okay, plan for success by reading and getting tips and integrating some of those wonderful tips into your own parenting. Number 7, have a long-term and positive perspective on parenting. Number 8, make sure that you focus on discipline rather than momentary punishment. And number 9, you could be proud of your child, but make sure you check your pride in yourself as well as a pride in your child. And number 10, pay attention to your child and especially the child's inner tendencies and characters. Okay, so this has been part 2 of our series on 15 parenting tips for young children. But don't forget, these principles could apply to middle school and high school students as well. So join me once again next time to talk about the remaining 5 principles of parenting. Thank you. This has been Dr. Song of New Covenant Academy.